Influence without authority. How do you tap into this? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 116 of our Supersize You Annual Challenge. And today we're talking about influential communication. How to be an influencer of the people that you want to have an impact on without having the title or authority that normally we assume goes along with having the ability to influence other people. Influence and influence strategies can be achieved by anyone in the organization. If you've ever been in a team or working on a team or in a group or in an organization where there's a formal structure of leadership, but the people that speak up and are asking questions and are engaging other people are really more influential than the leaders that have been elected or hired in the position of authority. You don't need to be a manager to lead. You don't need to be a manager to lead. Yeah, that's it. You don't need to be the head of your household to have a huge influence on your family. You know, maybe your significant other is the breadwinner in the house, but you are with the rest of the family and do all the family things. That is way more influential and having a bigger impact on the lives of the people in your little family unit than actually the person earning a living, going out and work, earning a living. I know people don't like to hear that. I was the person that earned a living in my household when my kids were little, and I wouldn't have wanted to think that I didn't have as much influence or more than my ex. You just have to use persuasive communication, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about 4 tactics that you can use to help influence people in the way we communicate. And what will happen over time is they're not tactics after they just become a part of you. After you practice them and use them and learn them and make them your own, now they're yours. And so they're not really tactics anymore, but I'll call them tactics for the purpose of this video. But persuasive communication, credibility, and relationships create influence. It's not a title or a position on a board or something that makes you automatically influential. Sometimes people give credence to different roles that other people play, which most people do. It's human nature. If you see somebody in a uniform, you automatically make assumptions about them. If you see somebody in a doctor's coat or a lab coat, you make assumptions about them, that they have extra knowledge and wisdom, and so maybe you should listen to them. Not that all of us listen to our doctors. Influence tactics, for example, asking questions is a form of influence. People are interested in people who are interested in them. That's called the Socratic method. Ooh. The ability to ask questions. Tell stories because they make an emotional connection. How many of you remember facts and figures from high school? Probably none of us. How many of you remember the teacher that you loved the most from high school? Probably almost everybody can come up with their favorite teacher from high school, because that person influenced them in a way that wasn't, I guess, a teacher when you're in high school would be an authority figure, but did you be positively influenced by all your teachers? That might be a better question. Chances are, no. Some of our teachers were awesome. Some of them were just barely getting by. Telling stories creates emotional connection. So the teachers, my favorite teacher in high school was a history teacher because he told the best stories and he brought history to life for us. My second favorite, my first favorite was English Lit. This was Scotch. Share data for the logical people that you want to influence. Share facts, find statistics. They love that stuff, and that will create influence. Build trust via consistency. Show up, be there for people, and that be a sounding board for people. People love people that will listen to them talk, right? I know I do. We all do. It's human nature. People follow those who communicate vision, inspired action, and they make them feel heard. How often do we not feel heard? Pretty often. I would say often, daily. At least daily, there's going to be a situation or somewhere where you'll speak up and people will act like you hadn't even opened your mouth. A woman in corporate America in the 80s and 90s definitely had those experiences a lot. So what's our action item today? In addition to this, our action item today, I'm going to go all the way through our communication topic for today, and then we are going to hit the U on the super formula, because I want to make sure that we cover that each month. It's our process for dealing with challenges and setbacks and obstacles and goals. Any so it can be used positively or negatively It's a process, a 5-step process that we came up with in January. We're going to talk about that today too, the you in super. But what are we going to do today? For an action step, I challenge you. I challenge you. You don't care what I want. I challenge you to influence somebody today that you have no direct power or authority over. So if you want to influence your kids, you really have power and authority over them. So pick somebody else. If you want to influence somebody at work, maybe it's somebody in a different department. Practice today. Practice asking questions. Practice using persuasive techniques. Practice. My brain is foggy. I got a cold. Practice making people feel heard and see if you can influence them in a positive way, please. Let's only use our skills and our abilities for good, none for evil, to agree with you or go along with something or join you in anything, whatever it is that you want to persuade them to do. Maybe you need to use some data and facts and figures. Maybe you want to just make sure that they feel heard, and that's how you influence them. But just practice today, and then let us know in the comments below what happened. Who did you influence maybe, and then the strategy or the tactics that you used, and then what was the result of that. Now, I will tell you, some of us aren't that good at this. And so when we try this today, it's going to backfire, and people are going to say, what are you trying to do? Influence me? What are you trying to make me do? If that happens, learn from it and share that in the comments below, because I guarantee you won't be the only person. I'm going to try this today too. I got to find somebody that I don't have power or authority over. There's a lot of people, right? Most of the people on the planet. And then think of some reflective questions. Think about, when have you successfully influenced someone before, and what did you do? What was your go-to strategy for that? Do you rely on title and position to get things done in your life and your organization? Are you a parent and you just expect your kids to listen to you no matter what, whether you let them know what's in it for them or not? How would your impact grow if you were able to influence decisions of other people around you, the people around you, regardless of the hierarchy? If it didn't matter, if there wasn't a hierarchy and we were all exactly the same and equal, would you be considered a good influencer? And how would that impact your life? All right, let's talk about the U today, now that my computer went off. U in our super formula stands for uncover what is, meaning identify what the current situation is. What is the current situation in what you're doing? So we picked a goal or a challenge area yesterday. I usually pick be a better listener, but I didn't pick this time. I picked, excuse me, for my personal life, I want to influence my granddaughters in positive ways that make them feel heard and make them awesome little human beings. I don't want to stunt their creativity and their growth, because I feel like that probably happened to almost all of us when we were growing up, and I don't want to see that happen to them, especially in this day and age of crazy social media and all the kinds of things that go on and interrupt people. So what we do in this particular stage is we look at the U in our U, which stands for uncover what is. So we're going to look at and figure out the current situation. So I do this by becoming aware of how I'm interacting with other people. I'm going to give you somebody's example in a sec. But we do it through observation and awareness, self-awareness, right? I know that's a biggie. Then we look at and we identify what's our biggest obstacle to this thing and that we want to achieve. And then what are our strengths? So for example, I'll share Karen's, and she said she wants to get to be a better communicator at work and in her job, which isn't, I guess we all have either jobs or businesses, right? So she says her current situation is she stays quiet in meetings, even when she has ideas. She avoids conflict and lets resentment build, because if you don't let people know that you're having a challenge with them and work it out together, guess what? Resentment builds. She interrupts or zones out when others are talking. Ooh, that's not active listening. And she struggles to say no or state her needs. Her biggest obstacle is fear of judgment, people pleasing, and she never really learned or was taught communication skills. And then her strengths are, she's thoughtful when she does speak, but, and she cares about understanding other people. She really does care. It just doesn't always come across that way. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the you. We're going to look at our current situation. We're going to actually step outside ourselves and actually observe and look at it and become self-aware. We're going to identify our biggest obstacle or a couple of obstacles and our biggest strength in this area, the area that we want to reach our goal in or the area we want to improve. If this is not clear, I've been trying to do a write-up, but my printer isn't working, so that everybody has a write-up and an example for this in the challenge. If that would be helpful, let me know, and I will just copy and paste it as a comment below this video when I post it today. All right, that's all I've got today. So what are we doing? We are going to figure out how we can influence without having the authority to influence other people by using our communication skills, right? We can all talk, we can all listen, we can all see and observe, we can all figure this out. But if you need help, just ask. Go out and make it an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.